And this is your mom when you drive her back from therapy.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Roles change without us noticing, and in your new role, we help you help. AARP gives you the information to help care for your mom so that you can have patience with her, just like she did with you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving or call 1-877-333-5885 to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one.
Are we there yet?
Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP, we help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stock, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value, market market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities through AXA Advisors, LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC, annuity, and insurance products offered through AXA Network, LLC.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Saturday, August 28th, add it to your calendar. The Sports Betting Channel presents To Be Determined. Our new show starts at 8 o'clock out here in San Diego, 11 o'clock in New York, and then we're done just in time for the first game kickoffs for college football. You're going to get 4 totally different slices of sports. Blackhawk West joins us for Saturdays in Canada and some plays for the CFL game. What do you do when the easy sports data is trending in opposite directions? Well, Mo's going to help us decide what to do on Something's Gotta Give. There's also Paulo's plays. Now, if you're not betting soccer, you really should be. And this guy is very, very good. Finally, there's Wake and Bake, where sports betting meets marijuana. Hey, the games start early here in Southern California. Now, 9 o'clock's a lot easier when marijuana is legal. It's like having 4 shows in one. Check it out Saturday, August 28th on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network, and on the Sports Betting Channel.
Wide Sports Radio Network.
Cause that's the bottom line. The Stone Cold Simpson. Everybody dies. Because I'm better than you, and you know it. Woo! Yes,
Welcome to Off the Mounts with Alex Slows, Josh Silverberg, and Lyle Gillen.
I think it's the people trying, you know. What is going on, everybody? How are we doing this evening? Welcome to another episode of the only wrestling talk show here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Welcome to Off the Mat, joining you every Tuesday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I heard the ad that Chaz had, so it's important to write the Eastern Standard Time. Snug already in the comment section with the yes stuff. We are going to get to all that, I promise you. We have a special guest coming up in a few minutes, but before we get to him coming on the show with us, we got to tell you, well, first off, before we get to that, actually, I got to ask my co-host. We only have one here tonight. Lyle Gillen feeling under the weather. He was very upset he had to miss the show. Not happy because there's so much to get into, but that's okay. We're gonna carry the load, as they say. But I have one of my co-hosts here, good friend of mine, as always, my tag team partner tonight, Mr. Alex Lowe's. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Josh. We got a big show in store in a couple minutes. We're having John Alba come on with us. It's going to be an amazing show tonight because we have a lot to get into.
Absolutely, we do. We have so much to get into. We're going to preview. We're going to preview All Out tonight. We're going to get into some NWA Empower that they had. All the shows that they had in NWA 73 was this past weekend, so that was cool. Of course, there was big news last night on Raw. We're going to do all that and so much more. Excuse me. And of course, I got to always give a shout out to our producer here, Mr. Speedy Petey, who does so much for this show and for this network. Before we get into the show, I'm so off tonight. You know why? Because tomorrow's my first day back at work, like for the school year. So I'm just like a little off tonight, I guess, as they say. So I'm just trying to get my bearings under me, but I'm going to get to that. Don't worry about it. Before I get to all that and we get to all the information that we said we were going to get into, we're going to tell you how you can listen to us every Tuesday night and so much more. Here's what you do. You download our app. Our app is completely free. If you have an iPhone, you go to the Apple Store. If you have an Android, you go to the Google Play Store. If you have an iPhone, type in WWSRN. If you have an Android, you type in Worldwide Sports. You click download. It's completely free. You can listen to our shows, see our schedules, read our wonderful articles that all of us here at the network write, and do all that great stuff. If you are driving, you can listen to the audio feed as well. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, you name it. We are absolutely on everything. It is a great, great, great source to get all of your fixings of not just wrestling, but all different sports and everything out there as well. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, you name it. We're on it. Alex, if you want to plug the Off the Mat webpage as well. And also we're on worldwidesportsradio.com. Check out the great website. But Alex, what's the Off the Mat page?
So the Off the Mat page is available in our Twitter bio. The link is there. You click on that, it'll take you to our Off the Mat Google site. We have an upcoming pay-per-view and show schedule for 2021. We have a special guest appearance page for announcements on special guests. We have a show archive, a pre-show archive, and WWSR and articles included there. And in the pre-show archive, I highly recommend checking that out because I started my own YouTube channel for Off the Mat where you can check out some of the pre-shows where I keep you all up to speed on the pay-per-views and shows coming up this year.
What is it? I'm just reaching out. First off, shout out to Jack Lyons for watching the show tonight. Thanks so much, of course, for tuning in. To all the fans out there. Also, if you have a question or something that you'd like to get into, well, first off, the number to call in 203-903-8271, 203-903-8271. If you have a question for me, for Alex, or for John while he's on, you can also write to us on the Facebook message board. We will get to those questions as well. Snug already going at it. I'm hoping there will be a special match on Off the Mat. Josh and his cat versus Lyle and his dog in the Ultimate Tag Team match. He also writes, it also works if you scream the following into your phone. Download the app. This features the best eyebrows in sports, Alex Slow. So there's a shout out to you. He said, there you go. Snug's doing it already. But before, of course, we get to all that, and we have so much to get into. And if the fans have any questions, and yes, Don Ghost writes on Alex's YouTube channel, there is some questionable content, but I will admit it is a fun adventure. So there you go. Snug doing a nice compliment your way, Alex. Before we get to all that, we got to introduce our special guest. He's one of the best insiders in the wrestling business today. He also had an announcement a couple weeks back in regards to his future at Spec Sports 360. We'll let him talk about that as well, but he is one of the best guys in the business today. We are so appreciative to have him on because we know how busy he is. He is Mr. Popular all the time, and that is the one and only Mr. John Alba, smirking and everything like that, always looking sharp, always looking good. How you doing, man?
Appreciate you guys bringing me back. No Lyle for me to make fun of here tonight, so
you could do it anyway. He's probably listening. It's all good.
Listen, man, not for nothing. If I could toot my own horn here, I'm one of the hottest heels on the New England pro wrestling scene right now. So I was feeling after a big Limitless Wrestling show this weekend, I was really feeling like I was going to come on here and throw some insults at some people, but Lyle bowed out. So it's
that's
okay.
all right. You still got Alex if you want to throw some shade at him. That's all good.
We'll see. Alex and I had a talk about pro wrestling commentating a few months back, and maybe I'll have to see if we can do an impromptu interview in character and see how he can riff and respond. We'll have to find out.
That would be great.
That'd
Look
be
at
awesome.
that, Alex. You see that? Look at that. Look at you getting your foot there. Look at that. And also, Snug writes, he's basically meaning you, John. He goes, he's so popular because of his amazing hair. So there you go. Your hair is already getting it.
This is a very good point. I'll tell you this, and this is very real. As I'll pull this up here on my phone. Back in 2018, I think it was. I actually was the recipient of an award called a Harry Award. And it is for the best hair in news. It was from a website, getgoodhead.com.
Look at that stallion on the camera there.
Yeah, look at that. It's best hair. I got a nice package from the company of hair product and shampoos and conditioners, and it was very humbling. So as you can see, I'm a very humble guy. So no, thank you though. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Listen, man. Before we get to all the wrestling stuff and everything like that, I don't know if you wanted to touch on it. I know you had a bit of news that you put out on Twitter. A couple, it's one of your pinned tweets about you and I believe it's Spec Sports going forward and everything like that. I think your final appearance is, if I'm not mistaken, September 9th. If I'm not mistaken, you're working with them, or what's going on there with that?
Yeah, next Thursday night is going to be my last show with Spectrum Sports. If you see in the post on my Twitter at John Alba, I am moving into pro wrestling full time, and I have a really, really cool opportunity ahead that I'm very excited and grateful for, with a major national pro wrestling entity, and I will share that news. I think tentatively the date is September 23rd. I put it out there. Can't go into any specifics right now other than it's a pretty significant national wrestling entity, and I'm really excited for it. So
that's fantastic.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Congratulations.
Congratulations on that, man. That's it. And listen, I'm not, like I said, I'm not tuning your horn or anything like that, but there's a couple of main guys that we always want to bring back on this show, specifically you being one and Raj Giri being another.
Raj is good people. Raj is a good dude.
Exactly. And the reason why we constantly are bringing you back on and Raj on, and we bring back Phil Spector on at times as well. Phil is another good one that we always bring on, is because we trust your insight and we trust with the inciting and everything of that in pro wrestling. Because, there's all these blogs and everything out there that people can say they know something and then they don't really have anything to back it up at times. There's so much. I mean, look, Twitter is, as I call it, a cesspool at times nowadays. Everybody can make up their own.
You're telling me.
It's good to get away from it for a while. And
I appreciate that, Josh. Thank you. And I genuinely do appreciate that. So thank you for that. And I'm always happy to chat.
Of course. Well, I mean, look, there's so much to get into. That's why we wanted to get you on. And we got you on at the perfect time, because this is the last week before, I guess, if you want to call it at this point, AEW's biggest pay-per-view, probably since their first Double or Nothing they've had. I mean, this is their biggest show that they've ever had. It's going to be ginormous. And now there's so many changes that are coming our way, and we'll get to that in a second. But what are your initial thoughts of, not even you could say what the initial thoughts of the pay-per-view are, but the news, obviously, when CM Punk actually showed up the other night at Rampage, and you heard Cult of Personality just play at the United Center. Like, there was a guy that posted a picture today of CM Punk and Christian Cage at the end of the show. You would have never have thought you would ever see that ever, period. Like, especially after Punk left the way WWE had. What were your thoughts on the way CM Punk and everything like that happened at that night?
Yeah, it was an all-time great moment in pro wrestling history. I don't think that can be possibly overstated in any way. It was a legit where were you when moment. And I thought it was excellent TV. Keith Mitchell and the AEW production crew did a great job capturing it. I thought it was a well-produced segment, all things considered, and what a real authentic moment. What makes CM Punk so great at what he does is that he just talks to people. Mm-hmm. There's a distinct difference between a promo and what CM Punk does. Mm-hmm. Eddie Kingston is a legit all-time great promo. But for as amazing of a talker as Eddie Kingston is, when he's talking, I know that I'm listening to a pro wrestling promo. And there's nothing wrong with that, per se. There's nothing wrong with that at all. CM Punk is like the guy next door who's talking to you at the bar. And that's what makes him so relatable and endearing for a lot of people. And I just thought it was a total home run moment. And I can't wait to be in Chicago this weekend to be there for All Out and see what that atmosphere is going to be like for his first match back.
For sure. Go for it, Alex.
So speaking of CM Punk, what are your thoughts about the upcoming match with CM Punk versus Darby Allin? I'm interested to get your thoughts on this because Darby, this is full circle for him. This is his chance to get into the spotlight and really show the fans and everybody around the world what he's been capable of. And we've seen him just take so much punishment, even dish out punishment. And I believe Darby is willing to go above and beyond to win.
Yeah, I think Darby Allin has more than proven already what he's capable of doing in AEW. And truthfully, I think this is more a match to see a litmus test if CM Punk can still go with some of the top talent out there. And I think Punk wants to do that for himself and see if he can prove himself. He has said it multiple times. He said it in his post-Rampage media call. He said it last week on Dynamite that Darby Allin, if he was a kid growing up watching wrestling, that's the guy that he'd want to be, and that's the guy that he would want to root for. So even though it will be a weird dynamic there, and I don't love the idea of Darby Allin potentially getting booed because, let's be real, he's walking into home court advantage there for Punk in Chicago, I think they're going to put on a very memorable match that we'll be talking about for a while. CM Punk's entrance in ring gear is going to be another one of those where were you moments, and I'm so excited to be there to see this in person.
See, it's a good point you bring up. I'm going to ask something after, John. It's a good point you bring up because with the whole booing thing. I don't necessarily. I don't know if they'll boo him.
I don't think they'll boo him per se, but it's
not going to get the reaction he normally gets.
Your typical babyface reaction for Darby Allin, and I, truthfully, if I were Darby and them, I would let Darby lean into a little bit of a heel thing. Think Rock Hogan WrestleMania 18, where The Rock he felt the crowd that they wanted Hulk Hogan to win, so he leaned into some heelish stuff.
Yes, he did.
And I think that would be a really fun approach for Darby Allin. Everyone knows it's not a permanent thing, and he's not going heel or anything. But for this one match, lean into that dynamic. It's what Cody did against Darby Allin at the Fyter Fest match in 2019 that got Darby Allin over in the first place. So I think that would be an effective way to do this match.
Really quick, Snug writes, I'm convinced this dude, meaning you, John, could do the ravishing Rick Rude grind and pull it off really well. Then he says, CM Punk and I, these are our fans, by the way. CM Punk and I enjoy stealing pies at the window at Silza farmhouses on the weekends. What does he say? If the farmer comes out and gets a little GTS action. So there you go. This is our fans in a nutshell for sure. I got to ask you this question. And I asked Raj this, and I wanted to get your take. You've been watching wrestling for a long time, as have I. I mean, like I said, I know I bring this up all the time. I was a WCW guy growing up. Does this feel like Hall Nash to you with Punk and Daniel Bryan coming in? I get that vibe. And Raj agreed somewhat. I get that vibe.
Yeah, I think it's bigger in the sense that Bryan Danielson and CM Punk are bigger names at this moment in time than Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were at the time. Mm-hmm. The environment is totally different, and there are not as many people watching wrestling now as there were back then. So it's kind of hard to compare in that sense. But in terms of actual name value, they are bigger names. Will it swing the meter? I don't know yet. I was kind of surprised that the Rampage viewership dropped so much.
It really did. The 722, I think it was Alvarez.
Which not a bad number by any stretch of the imaginations, but it dropped a lot. And Punk was obviously not advertised for that show, but we'll see. I mean, they did a good number on Dynamite, but if you're bringing in these guys, you're bringing in Punk, you're bringing in Bryan, you're potentially bringing in Adam Cole, who knows who else. We're going to start seeing probably by October or so if that is a tangible difference. And if it's not a tangible difference, then I don't know how much audience there is to grab right now. I don't know how many people are consistently watching pro wrestling if that is the case. If you do start pulling numbers and we start seeing Dynamite do 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, and growing, then there's something to that.
Before it goes, we're talking to Emmy Award-winning TV host and sports journalist John Alba right now joining us this evening. Go for it, Alex.
So my next question is about Adam Cole. So as of yesterday, WWE, his contract is done. He's a free agent now. Where do you think he's most likely to go? Because I've been hearing from a lot of people he could go to AEW and side with the Young Bucks or possibly do a storyline against them.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously an option for him given his history with the Elite. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks have a ton of history with Adam Cole.
He's supposed to be dead, remember, John?
I was about to say he was killed on being the Elite by the Young Bucks. They poisoned him. So, in theory, there's always a route there. I mean, listen, my gut. I don't have anyone telling me this. I don't know. My gut says he does go to AEW. I don't think there is a lot left for him to do in WWE. He could obviously go to the main roster. He could be, if he were treated well and positioned well, he could be a big-time star and make a lot of money on the WWE main roster. I think it is very clear what kind of treatment you get when you're a guy that looks like Adam Cole on the main roster, no matter who's supporting you. And Adam Cole's someone who has a lot of support from the likes of Paul Levesque and Shawn Michaels, but things are different. So would he take that chance and hope that he ends up being more of a Seth Rollins, which he could be? Seth Rollins has succeeded in spite of all that. Or does he take a more surefire bet where maybe he doesn't get paid quite as much in AEW, but he would no doubt be able to work the way that he wants to work, be able to work with a lot of his friends.
What I said.
And be positioned in a way where I think he'd have a lot more creative freedom. So we'll see. But the flip side of that is get paid a lot more money in WWE. And number two, there are only so many spots in AEW, and they are bringing in a lot of people, and there are only so many spots. So that's something you have to keep in mind too.
I absolutely agree. And I feel like if Adam Cole was moved up to the main roster, I feel like there could be some things he could do and some things he couldn't be allowed to do depending on where he would be positioned.
And look, there are people I'm sure he would love to work with there. I'm sure Adam Cole would love to work with Kevin Owens on the main roster. I'm sure he would love to work with Seth Rollins on the main roster. I'm sure he'd love to work with Finn Balor and Roman Reigns. There are a lot of great matches there for Adam Cole. Should the opportunities actually exist, we'll find out.
You brought up, well, I guess we both brought it up, but Bryan Danielson. See, I can't call him Daniel Bryan anymore. It's just I got to get back to the Bryan Danielson Ring of Honor days with the Final Countdown theme and then all that stuff.
The American Dragon. Yep.
That's I mean, so obviously, I'm going to be going to the Arthur Ashe Grand Slam show, and obviously everything has changed now. Now that USTA and everything like that, they're saying that masks are mandated now to get into the stadium. I would think they're going to keep that in line for when AEW comes. That's not going to change. Which leads me to the fact that this is probably why they switched Bryan Danielson's debut to All Out, because they're probably scared that a lot of people are not going to show up to that Grand Slam show now with the mask, with the vaccine stuff and everything like that. Do you care that they did that change in any sort of way? I mean, is that still the plan? And have you heard anything else? We asked Raj this. Have you heard anything else in regards to what they're going to do for the Grand Slam show? Because that's still going to be a very heavy-duty show for them at that stadium in New York City. It's a big show for them. I think they have to have something else up their sleeve with the Bryan Danielson thing probably being switched at this point.
I mean, I don't think they're worried about people not going to the show like you're saying. I don't think that's an issue at all. I think that show is pretty much sold out as is right now. And
I think it was 18,000 the last I saw on TikTok. Yeah, wrestling tips.
I think the vast majority of people in that area are vaccinated or would be complying with the mask mandate anyway. So I don't think they're really too concerned on that front. The U.S. Open has had no issues on that front either. I plan on being at that show as well. So,
so we'll meet up then.
There you go. So I'm planning on being there for that. The initial reports were that that's where they were targeting him. I think switching him, which is the report, and I have heard the same thing as well, that you can expect him at All Out. But of course, plans are always subject to change, as is the case here. I think part of the concern probably is that the show in New York as anyone would be concerned, might not happen as is with how the pandemic is growing and whatnot. But I think at this
Too far
point,
still down the line, I think.
yeah, I mean, it's only 3 weeks away, but I think at this point it's pretty solidified that'll be happening. But you want to be careful, and you want to get everything out there right now. So I don't know what they're going to do with Bryan Danielson. I could see a few different options for him. Obviously, the first one that comes to mind is putting him up there against CM Punk, and what a huge moment that would be. Someone he's comfortable working with. You could put him out against Kenny Omega, even though that would kind of run against what AEW has established with having to earn
and establish them first. Yeah.
Spot that I think would be awesome for Bryan Danielson would be against Miro for that TNT title, and then Bryan becomes like the wrestling guy defending the TNT title every week, just putting over and working with all these different guys on the AEW roster who could use some TV time and wrestle the best in the world. I mean, Daniel Garcia is someone I work very closely with on the independent scene, and he's incredible. And I've been saying this for a year and a half, 2 years now, that he's incredible. And seeing him get his run, what a match that would be, he and Bryan Danielson. So I think there's a few different routes you could go with Bryan.
So really quick before Alex, I just want to ask a follow-up quick. Basically, with no fears of that being changed or anything like that, but like, have you heard anything else that they could possibly do if Danielson shows up at All Out? I would think they would have to have a big surprise planned at the Grand Slam show. I would think they would have to. Obviously, I don't want to point fingers or names.
I mean, look, if Adam Cole comes in, that's certainly a place that you could debut Adam Cole. I think that would be an arena. I thought Ruby Soho debuting there would make a lot of sense, but it seems like she's probably going to be debuting at All Out instead, especially based on her vignette last night that aired. Yes. So yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Go for it, Alex.
So my next question is about Bronson Reed. So Vince McMahon, his release, it was his call to release Bronson.
Stupid.
And it's absolutely ridiculous to me, because this is a guy who has so much talent and he's exceptionally gifted. And I feel like there's multiple places he could go. One in particular would be New Japan. You could put him against Tomohiro Ishii or one of the bigger guys over there, like Minoru Suzuki. Mm-hmm. Or you could put him against Miro in AEW, and that would be great.
Put him against Jeff Cobb in New Japan, and that will make $1 million.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he and Cobb would be a great match. I mean, look, as far as Bronson Reed goes, he's a very talented big man. Maybe he had a bad tryout match in front of Vince McMahon. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. I didn't talk to anyone about that specifically. The only people I talked to in NXT just told me they were shocked by the release and that he was someone who was very well liked. And that's kind of been the motif with these NXT releases as of late. I agree with you, Alex. I think New Japan would be the perfect place for a guy like Bronson Reed to show up. I don't know if there's really a spot right now in AEW for him, but maybe there is. Again, AEW right now, it's a no-brainer to bring in guys like Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole, because they are guys that can make a pretty tangible impact and bring a lot of eyes to your product. But I don't think you need, and this is no disrespect to a guy like Bronson Reed, I don't think he's bringing a ton of eyes right now to your product. And you have a lot of guys that can step into that role, like Lance Archer, that, maybe isn't getting as much TV time as you thought, or your Jungle Boys and your Ethan Pages, correct, your Scorpio Skies, all these other underutilized people that I'd like to see AEW putting a little more emphasis on. So I don't think they really need to worry about bringing in those types like Bronson Reed right now. But there's plenty of places for him to work, and he could have a really successful run on the indies too.
Absolutely. And I think putting him in New Japan is a big way to go for him, because you have New Japan has been losing. They haven't had as, what I'm trying to say is they haven't had as much star power this year. Like there hasn't been.
New Japan has been booty over the last year.
There hasn't been any.
I don't know what has happened, because Ghetto, in my opinion, was like one of the greatest pro wrestling bookers I've ever. Like his run of booking from 2016 to 2019 is like all-time great stretch of pro wrestling booking. And then the pandemic hit and it just crippled them. And then you had the run with Evil as champion, which no disrespect to Evil, who I like a lot, but I didn't buy him as a champion at all. And yeah.
So, Osprey was building up,
feel
and then he got hurt. That was the killer too.
Yeah, and I feel like bringing Bronson Reed over there would give them more star power and give them more.
No, certainly. And listen, I would love to see Braun Strowman show up in New Japan. I think Braun Strowman can learn a lot from working in New Japan, and I think it would make him a much more versatile performer. I mean, look at Matt Bloom, the former Albert, who went over to Japan and became Giant Bernard and got a second shot of life into him there and allowed him to piggyback that into a new role with WWE, where now he's the head of the PC. So, yeah, I mean, working that style as a big man has proven to be successful.
I got a couple more here for you, John. Bray Wyatt is a name we're hearing all over the place. I understand Impact wants to try to sign him. I say good luck. I think he's too big. Raj said the same thing. He thinks he might be a little too big for Impact. From what I've read, Tony Khan really likes him because of the character. Lyle has said on the show that he doesn't think he fits with AEW because of his wrestling style. Where do you think he ends up, and do you think AEW is a good fit or maybe not so much?
I think that's a fair assertion from Lyle. It's nice to see him making one good for once, but I think I'm just kidding. I think that's a good assertion from him. That surface level, he doesn't really fit the style very much, but there's no doubting he's a great creative mind who would be beneficial to work with for a lot of talent there. And I pitched this the moment that he was released. There was a natural story for him, and I think they truthfully started teasing it already on TV. If you're paying attention, at least in my opinion, as the new leader of the Dark Order.
That's what I said 2 months ago. Alex remembers.
Obviously, there's the Brody Lee connection, obviously, but also aside from the Brody Lee connection, Creepy Cult Guys kind of fits in Bray Wyatt's wheelhouse, doesn't it? So,
yep.
Some dissension in the Dark Order right now.
He's an entertaining, fun guy too, and I think he would play well into who the Dark Order has developed into.
Go for it, Alex.
So my next question is about Paige making a wrestling return. Have you heard anything from anybody in the business about her coming back? And if so, if she does come back, what's the likely move for her?
I haven't heard anything. I know she gave an interview. She said she's trying to get cleared, but I haven't heard anything as far as that goes. You know, when it comes to neck injuries, you got to take things very seriously. So, yeah, I mean, we all know she's talented. Truthfully, I don't think her WWE main roster run was anything special. I really wasn't impressed by anything she did on the main roster, and that's not necessarily her fault. I just don't think they ever found that secret sauce that really she was able to hit with in NXT, and she was very successful in NXT with it. And I just don't think on the main roster they ever really found that mesh. She had a nice little run as the GM, and I think she's very talented and should be used on television as a character, but as a manager or wherever. But they just, I don't know. I don't really have anything to add to that because I don't know what her current status is, but I'm sure she could find herself contributing in a valuable way in a lot of different promotions.
John, I know your time is valuable, so we could just a couple more in here. What the hell happened to NXT? Just it was like a bomb just went off, and I don't even know what to even say anymore. It just, I mean, I know they got beat in the ratings, and that's fine, but Vince said he was never going to touch it, and then he really touched it. And then Triple H, they're saying he doesn't have any say anymore, and now they have this new logo that came out, and Wale has the new theme song. I don't know, all that. Like,
the new logo looks awful. The colors just throw me off. It's like, what? What's the deal with that?
Well, I don't buy the report I don't know who has reported that. I haven't heard that report that Triple H doesn't have any say in it. I don't think that's accurate at all.
I mean, he created. I would hope he would still have say in it for sure.
I think there is a directive of, okay, NXT kind of lost a little bit of its purpose, which its purpose, keep in mind, was developmental ultimately.
Yep.
And when it became a TV property that was going head to head with AEW, it kind of lost that purpose of being developmental. And I understand that. I mean, they need a developmental system. And if you're so focused on writing TV that's directly competing with another promotion, that is going to get lost. And then you're going to pluck people from that. And the reality is NXT was not developing people for the main roster style. Now, you could have all the arguments that you want and say, well, the main roster style stinks. That's up to you. That's your opinion if you feel that way. But the reality is very few people were translating successfully into what Vince McMahon's image of sports entertainment looks like. And so now he's getting more hands-on with it. And I think the NXT that we'll be seeing will be more reminiscent of the NXT of 12 or so, where he was champion and you had more Jinder Mahal types and all that, which, listen, that was still a fine show. There was nothing wrong to say. It was still, I'd still say it was stronger than some of the main roster stuff. But you're going to be seeing guys that they bring in who check more of the boxes of what they're looking for. And what they're looking for is not independent wrestlers right now, which, again, you can make the argument that that's what they should be looking for, and I would hear that argument entirely. But that's not what they're looking for. They want great athletes that they can mold into their style of pro wrestling. And that style has worked in some cases. Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, there are Batista, John Cena. John Cena did a little bit of independent wrestling work, but there are instances where this did work. But there are also instances where it didn't work. And I mean, I've talked to a lot of NXT talent about it, and truthfully, while there are a lot of people who are upset, there's also people who are happy about this opportunity because it means that more people who hadn't been getting as much TV time will get a chance to get some more TV time. Like, I think this is valid criticism. I heard this directly from one NXT talent. It was nothing against Adam Cole or Kyle O'Reilly, but why did we have their fifth match or whatever it was at TakeOver when you could have easily done the breakout tournament finals, or you could have done Legato versus Hit Row on TakeOver, and which would have been more beneficial in terms of prolonging your product, you know? So I hear both sides of the argument. I have accepted that the NXT that many of us fell in love with is just no longer going to exist. But that doesn't mean that it's also going to just go to being a crappy show. I don't think that's going to be the case either.
Go for it, Alex.
So my next question is about Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Would you prefer to have it at Survivor Series down the road or at Extreme Rules at the next WWE pay-per-view?
I mean, I don't really have a preference on when they run things. It's not really how I watch wrestling per se. They're going to do what they feel is best for business. It's obviously a feud you could hold off till Survivor Series, but as we've seen WWE does more traditionally at Survivor Series, they do the whole Raw versus SmackDown thing, which I'm not really a big fan of. Especially if the draft is going to be in October, as Andrew Zarian's reported. So what, they're going to be on the brand for a month and then they're going to be fighting. It doesn't translate super well in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. I think Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns in these roles is an interesting feud, and there's a really cool story to tell with Paul Heyman there. So I'm interested to see it play out.
Yeah, and if they wait till Survivor Series to have that match, there's so much you could do story wise and the direction you could go with that.
Sure.
I got two more. I'll ask one now, then I'll let Alex go, and I'll ask my last one after. In regards to All Out, I'll get to All Out. I'll say my last. I'll get to All Out there. What is a match? Obviously, you have Darby Punk and you have Cage Omega. Those are two big ones. But what's another match that is kind of one that you're looking forward to, and another match that you think is going to float under the radar? Because I can tell you, for me, it's Lucha Brothers, Young Bucks, Steel Cage. That's going to be a banger, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be an all-time great tag match. I was a little surprised that was not Jurassic Express there. I thought they kind of laid the groundwork for the story there, and I do have concerns that you might miss the boat a little bit with Jungle Boy. I hope that's not the case. But if I had to pick another one, I think Andrade and Pac has a chance to. Sorry, I had a little bit of a mini stroke there.
That's okay. My wife gets the hiccups all the time. She's pregnant. She gets them all the time.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
John is a good name for a baby, but Andrade.
Throwing that one in there at me now. Come on now.
Andrade and Pac, I think, has a chance to be a really great match. And there's some good story stuff added to that, too. So that's a match I'm looking forward to. The only one I'm just really not into at all, truthfully, is the QT Marshall. And
that's my bathroom match.
I'm not really sure why this is on the pay-per-view.
You think maybe it's just like a filler, so like people can like maybe settle down a little bit, like calm it, like maybe calm everybody down. Like if they maybe do like they use Punk.
I'm not a subscriber to the belief that you need to have fillers on shows. I work on some really incredible independent shows where there's no fillers and you have 8 just awesome banger matches and the crowd loves all 8, so I don't subscribe to the belief of bangers having to have, bring me down matches in between. I think that's a trope that has kind of invaded pro wrestling, and it's one that if your card is good enough, people will stay hot the whole night.
Awesome. Go for it, Alex.
So my last question is about Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. What have you heard about this match, and what are your thoughts on how you think it would go in particular?
I mean, I haven't really heard anything about the match other than it being announced, but I think it's a cool match. I selfishly wanted to see Tanahashi, and it was very clearly heading towards Tanahashi, and I really, really want to see Tanahashi.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I would.
If they could get like they've had some nice names, John, come from New Japan, but I'm talking like we're talking like big, ginormous names.
Yeah, well, I mean,
like Tanahashi, somebody.
My 3 Japanese guys that I would love to see work in person are Okada, Ibushi, and Tanahashi, and I haven't seen any of them work in person, so I really would have loved to have seen Tanahashi and Moxley. I think they would have had a great match. But
I went to G1 Supercard at the Garden. I'm not jealous. That was nice.
That was an interesting show. I was supposed to be at that show, but I had some disputes come up that night. But I think that they can. I think this other match that Mox has can be very good. He's a legend in his own right. I don't think it's as hot of a name and relevant as a name as Tanahashi right now. But I love the idea of this. And I've said from the start, the biggest possible match that AEW can run when the time is right is Okada Omega 5 on U.S. soil.
Yeah.
It's a matter of when. I don't think it's a matter of if. I think it's a matter of when. And I don't know when that is. But I think it's inevitable.
Because I was going to say, because I know there was somebody that said Bryan Danielson, he really wants to work with Will Ospreay. And, oh, wow, what a coincidence. What a coincidence. Bryan Danielson's going to AEW. And, oh, by the way, Will Ospreay's on U.S. soil right now. I mean, hello, this is a really good opportunity for this to go down. I mean, this would be a great time for this to happen.
I mean, if we're opening that forbidden door, there are a million incredible matches. Again, it's Okada Omega, Ibushi Omega on U.S. soil. Bryan Danielson and Tanahashi, or if you get Shingo Takagi in that mix. I mean, there's a lot of guys who can. I mean, Hiromu Takahashi versus Ray Phoenix. I mean, there are a million awesome matches out there if you allow for it.
Sure. My last one for you, John, is it was talked about a lot on Raw last night. The thing between Nia and Charlotte just was it got so nasty last night. I mean, it looked like it was a shoot. I read what everybody was saying from Brian Alvarez to everybody was reading it, and I was watching it, and I saw it, and I went, I guess somebody no-sold something, and then Charlotte actually slapped Nia, and Nia got pissed, and She tried to go full 3-swing UFC style on her face, and then tried to suplex her and almost landed her on her neck, which was just a really bad look, and it looked somewhat unprofessional by them. And the last thing WWE needs is for a Charlotte Flair to get injured. That's the last thing they need to have happen. Do you have any idea? I mean, they went to the back and they said everything was like status quo, but it didn't look like that in front of the crowd last night. What are your thoughts on watching that yesterday?
I mean, just watching it, it looked like Nia Jax dropped Charlotte. Charlotte wasn't too happy about it. And I mean, look, this stuff does happen in wrestling. You know, people get hot and you get caught in the heat of the moment, and there's some bickering, and usually you just move on from it. So I don't make too much of it, other than Nia Jax seems to have a history of being a little reckless with some people, and it's been approached in the past, but at some point you do have to be careful. I was more concerned. There was a moment in the Rhea Ripley match where Rhea just kind of took a clothesline right against the rope, and her neck just whiplashed against the rope from Nia, and I had scary flashbacks of what happened with Pedro Aguayo Jr., where he died from it, and he was taking the 619 and died because of how he fell on the rope. So I worry about that a little bit, and people just got to be careful. So yeah, I mean, I don't make much of this, but yeah.
I only remember it because I know a few weeks ago, I think it was on Dark, I forget who Jade was wrestling, and she flung somebody and meant to hit her in the turnbuckle, and instead her head hit the ropes, and everybody, and the referee was even like scared afterwards because that's a complete botch and miss, and you know, and then she tried to suplex her and dropped her, and I was like, in the Jade match, and I went, ay. But when are you leaving for Chicago? When are your festivities beginning?
My flight is early Saturday morning. I'm working until like midnight Friday. Then I'm on like a 4 or 5 a.m. flight to Chicago, and then I'm going to the Cubs game that afternoon. My first trip to Wrigley. I've never been to Wrigley.
I've been to Wrigley.
So I want to get to Wrigley. Fun. You know, baseball is my sport, so I want to get there.
I know you're a Yankee fan, right?
I grew up a Yankee fan, but I worked for MLB Network, and you know, my I just love baseball. So you know, Wrigley is kind of on that Mecca list that I haven't gotten to. And then next summer I'm going to get to Pittsburgh. I'm really excited about that because I've never.
Oh, you'll love it. If you ever, it's so nice. I love going to Pittsburgh.
I can't wait to go there. But so I'll be going to Wrigley Saturday afternoon. Saturday night, still up in the air is what's going to be going on, and then Sunday just gearing up.
You're going to find CM Punk, and you're going to go to a bar, and you're going to hang out. That's what you're going to do.
No, I was with.
He doesn't drink, but I mean, you know, like you can still hang out and talk.
I was with JD Drake this past weekend, and he and the Wingmen are doing something outside the arena, and I said, I said, what would happen if I showed up? He said, I'd chop the shit out of you. So maybe we'll have to put it to a test to see if he's a man of his word or not.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Listen, like I said, I'm going to be at the Grand Slam show. I'll message you if you have time to chat, and if you do have time to say hi, for sure. I will be there. That's actually going to be my first AEW show. I had tickets to the Prudential Center show, but because my wife is pregnant and it's going to be an indoor stadium of 14,000 people, I'm just like,
I get it, man.
Not for me. I just can't. Unfortunately, it sucks, but I don't think it's
I mean, look, the Arthur Ashe show is going to be the bigger of the two ultimately. So, that's the Arthur Ashe show. I think is going to be a pretty special.
That's what it is. Like Lyle was asking Raj if he thinks that if they're going to make up anything at Prudential, and Raj said, well, I mean, when you think about it, they're kind of making up for it by having the Arthur Ashe show, and everybody that's going to be at that show is probably going to go to the Arthur Ashe show. So it's kind of making up for it being in the same area. So when you really think about it, it's, but
they're going to be running Long Island a couple
you know what the funny thing is, I would have loved to have gone to that show too. That's like 2 weeks before her due date.
Yeah.
So
that's going to be interesting because I believe they're running the venue a week after WWE is.
They are. November 29th is WWE. They're doing the Raw show.
I am curious to see how those shows draw against one another.
Mm-hmm. But the crowd, I mean, Long Island is huge for wrestling.
Right, and it's traditionally WWE territory, so I'm curious to see how those two compare in terms of attendance and ticket draws.
And you're flying out of New York, right, to go to Chicago on Saturday?
No, I'm in Florida, so I'll be Orlando to O'Hare, and then.
Oh, we're swapping places. See, I'm going to Orlando on Saturday, so we're swapping places.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
and then I'm going there with my family. We're going to Universal, and then I have to quarantine at their house for about a week or so. These were tickets I bought even before she was pregnant. Right. So I'm not going to go home. I'm going to wait a week or so and get the test and do it that way.
Well, so you'll be able to watch me on television then in my final week on TV. You can.
There you go.
And,
that's perfect. Then I just realized that. That's awesome.
There you go. So
you tell me what channel it is and everything like that.
You'll get your Spectrum News 13. I'm hosting too, pretty much every single night next week. So it's my last week on air. So I'll be doing that, and then I'll be up in Jersey for 3 weeks, and then I'll be coming back down to Florida to finish things out, and then eventually I'm going to be moving back up to Jersey. So,
look at that! You see, so we got to get together at some point. Then,
for sure, man.
We really do. But I'm saying because I got to figure out if most of the TVs in hotels are smart TVs now. So I would think I got to bring my Fire Stick with me. I got to bring the Fire Stick with me and try to hook it up for All Out. I might be able to watch it live. So I got to like not watch Twitter. I can't be on Twitter for like the 3 or 4 hours. And I swear, if I was allowed to do anything, I'm going to smack them when I come back.
Yep. Stay away from Instagram. Stay away from Twitter. Stay away from
100%. Because I know knowing them, one of them in the chat is going to like spoil something, and I'm going to be so pissed, and I'm going to be so annoyed. So I'm going to be like, "Are you guys kidding me?"
Probably most likely be Lyle because I don't spoil anything.
No, I got to block that chat. Yeah, 100%. But I got to figure out how to hook that up and everything like that. But John, before you go, how can the fans reach out to you on social media and get in touch with you and everything?
No, I mean, at John Alba on Twitter is probably the best place to do that. So get in touch there. And, I'm busy a few weeks here. I'm making my Limitless Wrestling in-ring debut September 25th. So been training for a big match that we've been building for a long time here, and I can't wait. And we got the All Out show, and we got a whole lot going on. So really appreciate you guys bringing me back.
Do anytime. And like I said, in all seriousness, if you're not too busy, I'm going to get to the Grand Slam show early, so I'll hit you up if you want to just chat for a couple minutes, say how are you and everything like that. Can't wait, but we're so glad to have you on. We wish you nothing but the best with your new stuff going on and everything like that, man. I'm so glad to be able to watch that last show with you, being in Florida, everything like that. Awesome. Have fun this weekend. Enjoy it, dude. This is a great show. You're going to get to see history this weekend. That's for sure.
Thank you very much, guys.
Come on anytime, man. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, John. Take care, man. Ladies and gentlemen, the great John Alba. We had him on for way longer than we were expected, but that's the nice thing about John. By the way, shout out to my mom, Marilyn Soberg. She's watching the show right now. And to my cousin, Carol Likinski. She's watching it tonight. So how about that? Nice new follower we got there. But I guess we'll finish up the last few minutes and we'll go to break at 9. There was so much to take in, and that's why I always say there's 3 guys I really fall in line with in wrestling. That's Raj Gary being one, that's John Alba being another, and that's some portion of it. I would say Dave Meltzer is probably another one. Snug says, reach out to John on Twitter each week. One lucky fan gets to run their fingers through and then perfect flex on them. God almighty, Snug. So it's really there's a lot of good information. I'm excited to hear what he has to say. He's going full-time wrestling now. I can't wait for that announcement.
Yeah, that's big news. I'm really excited for him. Truly,
for sure. And I'm definitely going to hit him up. I know John. I talked to him off the air a lot. I always talk to John, message-wise. So I know he'll find the time to talk with me for a couple of minutes before the AEW show. And everything like that, because Lyle and I will also be there. We're going to be doing some coverage as well for Off the Mat as well for the Grand Slam show, and we'll put up some videos and some pictures. And we're actually bringing now. I don't know if you know, we're bringing Jillian with us to the show. Jillian Cohen, who used to be here at the network, she's actually going to be going with us to that show. She was so excited and eager to go to that show.
And I'll be doing coverage as well on the pre-show.
Snug goes, shout out to Josh's mom. Would love to see her interviewed on the air. I feel like she has some great stories. Alex, before you finish, you mind if I just tell a quick story really quick for Snug?
Absolutely.
It's going to be very quick. So my mom is actually the reason I got into wrestling. One was I used to watch WWF, like Shotgun Saturday Night when I was younger. But my mom used to take me all the time to the Nassau Coliseum when Monday Nitros and all the WCW house shows used to be there. Like she said, she was my mom was a massive Sting fan, huge Sting fan. That's where I get the Sting love from. She bought me the old Sting mask. I really wish I still had that Sting mask because that thing is worth like $600 on eBay now. Those Sting masks from the WCW shows. So she used to always buy me Sting shirts, DDP shirts. My brother used to have an NWO Wolfpack shirt. They'd take us to Disney World and we'd be walking around with the NWO shirt and a Sting shirt on. I mean, it would be so much fun. She would always take me to anytime WCW was in the area for the Nassau Coliseum, a house show or Monday Nitro, we'd be there. We would always go to every show. So it was so much fun going to those shows back in the day. But you were going to say something, Alex. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I was saying, and I'll be doing the pre-show runs for all those shows while you and Lyle are over at Arthur Ashe.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we're going to have pictures. You know what? Alex, I might even FaceTime with you so you can actually get a visual of the area that night. If you want me to FaceTime you while I'm there, for sure. You could get to see the whole area. You can say hi to Jillian. She'll be going nuts probably. I'll be drinking my pants off because I'm going to be on break. School will be on break. She's so snug grades. So Josh didn't go to bed. Josh's mom would lock him in the Boston Crab till he tapped out and finally went to bed. Yeah, Bryan, that or my dad would put me in a headlock and say, go to sleep. That would be one or the other. No, but I'm excited for I'm 100% excited. I'm upset I'm not going to the Prudential Center show, but John is right. And Raj said the same thing to us last week. You know what it was? It was when you look back at it, the Grand Slam show is going to be the bigger show. It is.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, the numbers already for ticket sales are amazing.
I mean, they've sold over 18,000 tickets. They've already sold over 18,000 tickets. I mean, and look, it is mandated vaccination to go to the show from what it's being read and told. You know, Snug Reds, it would be great to see live shots of Lyle live at the event. Going to a live event with Lyle was hysterical because all he does is scream the whole time. And 95% of the things he screams, I don't even know what he's saying. He's just screaming things. I'm just like, I don't even know what's happening, but okay. It's going to be a great show. You know, but I love the interview with John. I think it's going to be great that he's going to be all out. I don't know if Rosh is going to be there too. He never said if he was or not, and everything like that. But we're going to get to all out after the break, of course, when we come back. But any last thoughts, Alex, before we take a break? Because there's still a lot we got to get to with All Out and NWA and Bryan Danielson.
Absolutely. My question on him regarding Paige returning to the ring, I do agree with him about the neck injury part of it.
There's no way she's coming back.
No, but there's some people who believe she could come back if her neck gets back to the way it needs to be. But that could take years, even a long time for that to happen. So it's very not likely to see her return. And the other thing, the one thing I forgot to ask him about was Brock Lesnar's contract with WWE. I know it's a year and a half. So I think he's going to be there all the way up until WrestleMania time.
Really quick before we also go to break, so Snug says, my dream is to go to an Islanders game with Lyle. I would just hope that he remained fully clothed. Well, it depends if they win or lose. That would be the dependence of it. I'm going to ask you this question now, and we're going to get into the match after. I don't want you to tell me why you're picking them. I'm going to give you a match. Now, choose wisely here. Mm-hmm. Now, you know Lyle's favorite tag team in the wrestling business is
Young Bucks.
You know this, Young Bucks. And my favorite tag team in the wrestling business is
the Lucha Bros.
Don't tell me why. Just tell me who you think is winning.
Okay.
I want that when we come back from the break. Okay?
All right.
Choose wisely. You could side with Lyle here, or you could side with me here. Because Lyle and I have had this argument for years about the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks for the last 4 years. This is going on. About who the best have.
Well, I already know in my mind who's the best out of the two tag teams, but I'm not going to say anything until after the break.
I mean, my personal opinion, my favorite tag team of all the tag teams is the Briscoe brothers. You knew this already.
You're a big Briscoes fan.
I mean, the Briscoes are my guys, but I mean, it's just, we'll get to all that when we come back. So we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to get into some more AEW. We're going to talk about the Bryan Danielson situation. We got into it a little bit with John, but we're going to give our take on it. We'll get into some AEW All Out previewing. We're going to get to a smidge of NWA because it was a very good show. I got to watch both shows. The women's pay-per-view was awesome. I thought the men's Trevor Murdoch winning the belt was great. But we'll get into all that when we come back. This is Off the Mat right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Stay with us. We have so much more to get into. We'll be right back on WWSRN.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Saturday, August 28th, add it to your calendar. The Sports Betting Channel presents To Be Determined. Our new show starts at 8 o'clock out here in San Diego, 11 o'clock in New York, and then we're done just in time for the first game kickoffs for college football. You're going to get 4 totally different slices of sports. Blackhawk West joins us for Saturdays in Canada and some plays for the CFL game. What do you do when the easy sports data is trending in opposite directions? Well, Mo's going to help us decide what to do on Something's Gotta Give. There's also Paulo's plays. Now, if you're not betting soccer, you really should be. And this guy is very, very good. Finally, there's Wake and Bake, where sports betting meets marijuana. Hey, the games start early here in Southern California. Now, 9 o'clock's a lot easier when marijuana is legal. It's like having 4 shows in one. Check it out Saturday, August 28th on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network, and on the Sports Betting Channel.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi, I'd like to report a bear hug.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some, dry brush and leaves around, so, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Hey, guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. Waking up every day, lifting him from the bed to the wheelchair to the car to get him to therapy on time. It's no small task between the doctors and the diagnosis, but nothing can disable this love. This is my big brother, my hero. He's part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. See, there's no time for tired. This starts again tomorrow. He'll be waiting for me. I wake up for him. I know he needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 877-333-5885. Caregiving Resource Center. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I what to do. Oh, tell the world I see with an emoji to stop the bullies.
Know someone who's being bullied online? Send the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more about the witness emoji at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
This is the worst town I've ever been in. No! You can
The champ is here. Now welcome back to Off the Mat with Alex Slows, Josh Silverberg, and Lyle Gillen.
Yes, we are back for the second half of the only wrestling talk show here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is Off the Mat, joining you every Tuesday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on WWSRN. Again, to download our app, you go to the Apple Store. If you have an iPhone, type in WWSRN. If you have an Android, go to the Google Play Store, type in Worldwide Sports. Check us out on worldwidesportsradio.com. And Alex, if you want to plug the Off the Mat page as well.
Yes, the Off the Mat website is available in our Twitter bio. You click on that link, it'll take you to the website. We have a show archive page for all the recent shows that we have done here on Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We have a pre-show archive where I have done 2 videos already for pay-per-views and upcoming wrestling shows. And then we also have a pay-per-view and wrestling show schedule. So please feel free to check that out anytime. And as always, stick with us here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Well, again, we got to thank John Alba once again for the great insight. We know how busy he is, and hopefully I can be able to talk to him at the Grand Slam show in a few weeks for sure. Definitely looking forward to it. But let's get to just NWA really, really quickly. I thought the women's pay-per-view was great. Awesome Kong announcing her complete retirement from wrestling. I thought it was a great moment with Gail Kim. I thought the whole pay-per-view was a success. I thought it was great. And then you had the men's show, the NWA 73 with Ric Flair coming out, and then Trevor Murdoch winning the heavyweight championship over Nick Aldis. I thought it was really a feel-good moment. But who was the oh my God, the tag team that won over the weekend? I forget their names. Give me a second. Let me just look it up quick.
Was it Tyrus and Jordan Clearwater?
No. I'm gonna get it in 1 second. Let me just La Rebellion. At the Reseda 666 and Mecha Wolf 450. I thought that was a great match, and I love those characters too. I thought they really coming off. They were from AAA. I think winning the belts were awesome. When you look at their characters and you see how they really were in the ring, it was great. Their promo was awesome. Leading up to that show, I thought the NWA was a very successful show this weekend. I got to check it out. I thought the match with Aldis and Murdoch was great, and to see Trevor Murdoch have that moment was well deserved. What were your thoughts, Alex, on the whole weekend for NWA as a whole?
Well, for me, I enjoyed seeing Mickie James compete against Kylie Ray, who recently just came back, because I know she was gone for quite a while.
She's back for now.
Momentarily. And I thought that match was great. I thought it went well. I think the choreographing and the move sets in that match were good as well, and they performed top notch. So it was a great match to have on the card.
For sure. So, like I said, NWA killed it over the weekend. I thought it was a great weekend for them. But now let's get to something before we get into All Out and previewing it. The Bryan Danielson switching it up. We talked to John about it. Alex, what are your thoughts on the whole switch of them not doing it at Grand Slam, doing it at All Out, and if you think there could be maybe another possibility that shows up in Arthur Ashe?
I think doing it and pushing it to All Out, I think it's a little bit too soon. I think you could have waited on Daniel Bryan and had him at Arthur Ashe, because that way.
But remember why John said it though. They were skeptical, maybe with waiting
Yeah.
the way everything is.
But now that they have him possibly wrestling at All Out, the one person I would like to see him in a debut match against is Miro for the TNT Championship. Because Miro has been on a hot streak lately. With the wins he's been racking up. And AEW has made him look unstoppable. And I think it would be a challenging match for Daniel Bryan to start out in.
Absolutely. I think there's so many good things. Now remember, you can't call him Daniel Bryan anymore. Now it's Bryan Danielson.
No, it's Bryan Danielson.
You got to get that again. Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm being the same way. But let's get into it now. Let's get into the big show, right? AEW All Out and previewing it. What are your expectations for the show this weekend?
So my expectations for the show, based on the card and what I'm seeing, I expect the energy in that arena to be electric. I think it's going to be a sold-out arena.
It is sold out. It already is sold out.
It's going to be a big show. It's going to be a spectacular show. And I know AEW can knock it out of the park with the names they have on this card. And one of them being is this steel cage tag team match.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up because I said I wanted an answer from you. Now you can give a reason why. I guess that's the match we'll start with, right? We'll start with the Brothers versus the Young Bucks in the steel cage match for the AEW Tag Team Championships. And this is a rivalry that's gone way back from when they wrestled at the first pay-per-view at Double or Nothing when the Young Bucks won. And then the Lucha Bros beat them at All Out a couple years ago. In the ladder match, that was when Proud and Powerful debuted at the end of the show. So this is where you need to think carefully now. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, Snug saying that Lyle was always right. It's way too easy is BS and nonsense. That's not even true.
For me, I got to pick the Lucha Brothers.
That's what I'm talking about. Now you're going to lose.
And the reason being is because they haven't had a moment to shine and really see where they can go against the Young Bucks in an AEW Tag Team Championship match. They haven't had that moment yet. And now they're going to get that moment where they can put on a spectacular 5-star matchup and really take the Young Bucks to their limit.
I get a vibe, and this is just my take on it. I feel like Andrade is going to get involved and try to help the Lucha Brothers win this match so he can get them on his side.
Either him or
Chavo
Guerrero, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe to try to convince them, hey, join Andrade. You're not going to do anything with Pac. I'm picking the Lucha Brothers in this match. To me, and it's not even being biased. I just think it's time. The Young Bucks have held on to the belts for quite a long time now. And I think it's time the Lucha Brothers have gotten their due. They're one of the best tag teams in the world. So, and like I said, so with the Young Bucks, I always tell you my top three, and in no particular order. It's the Young Bucks, the Lucha Brothers, and the Briscoe Brothers are my top tag teams. And to me, when you look at the way it's built up and the way it's doing this and the way it's going with the storylines with Andrade, I think a key component we have to look out for is which match is going to go on earlier. Is it the Andrade match or is it the Lucha Brothers match? I think the Lucha Brothers match is going to start the show. That would be my opinion on it. I know AEW loves to generally start shows with tag team matches. They generally love to start the show with the Young Bucks because they always bring the energy and the crowd, and that Chicago crowd's going to be so fired up. It's going to be crazy. So I'm going to go with the Lucha Brothers in this one. I think there could be a swerve here or there. We'll see if Andrade or Chavo get involved in this. I
feel like Don might get involved too. Don Callis.
Well, of course, Don Callis is going to probably get involved.
As Excalibur would say, the human garbage can.
Yeah, that's true. What does Christian Cage call him? A carny?
A carny little, you know what?
Yeah, I know. So it's that's my take on it. I think the Lucha Brothers are going to take this one. We know where Lyle would go with it, so it doesn't even matter. All right, so that leads us to our next match, Andrade and Pac. And to me, I'm going to pick Andrade in this one. I think Andrade is really on all cylinders right now. He's got a lot going on for him right now. He's somebody that has – he's only, I think, had 1 or 2 matches in AEW so far. He really hasn't had much. I think the switch from Vicky – I think the switch from Vicky to Chavo was genius. I really do think that. I think it was the best thing AEW could have done was making that switch. I was not happy with Vicky being there. But I'm going to go with Andrade in this one. I think he has momentum going into this match. I don't know. I get a vibe with the way Pac is and everything like that. And don't forget, Alex Marvarez is also going to be out there, too, for the Lucha Brothers. So he could even get involved in that match, too. But that's going back to that one. What are your thoughts on the Pac Andrade match? Like John said, this is a match that could steal the show.
Absolutely. And Pac is definitely a guy who he's top notch. He's a superior athlete. He's one of those guys that has a never say die. He does not give up easily. This is a guy that came in WWE, had some time on NXT. He came up to the main roster, and he was multi-talented there, and he had some really good matches there over with WWE. And I feel like he's going to do the same here against Andrade. And we haven't seen much of Pac perform because I think a couple months ago he got hurt, where it kind of pulled him out of action for a little bit. But now that Pac is kind of back in the groove, I think we're going to get a great match.
Me too. I think it is going to be a great match. To me, I think the styles mesh perfectly with each other. I think this is one that's been building up for a while, so we shall definitely see how this goes. QT, Paul White, that's my bathroom match. Paul White's going to win. We know this. It's just silly to even discuss it. What are you thinking on this one?
I say Paul White wins. There's no way QT wins unless somebody from the Nightmare Factory gets involved.
So let me ask you this question: when you look,
Factory, yeah.
No, of course. When you look at everything,
I feel like Nick Camarado may come out at the last minute and blindside Paul White, and then QT might try and take advantage of the pin there, but there has to be a swerve somewhere in that match.
I mean, I look at it in this perspective. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, like why Malachi Black isn't involved in the match.
Yeah, I thought I said the same thing when I didn't see him on the card. I like what they're doing with Arn Anderson and his son Brock. That's great storytelling there. And right now they've made it look like Cody Rhodes is not coming back. That he's down and out.
Well, he's not. Well, he's doing his show right now on TBS.
But storyline wise, they're making it seem like he's not.
No, I know that. That's the whole point. It's going to be a long. I could see Cody coming back at the Grand Slam show, doing that sort of capacity. I think it's just long-term story building. But I guess you can't. Look, you can't fit everybody on the card, right? Isn't that how it is? So I look at it in this perspective. I think Malachi Black is somebody they're going to build for a very long time. I think it's going to work really well for the build-up for a long time. But again, we will, of course, we'll see what happens for sure. With that, I mean, I look at it in this perspective. I think the biggest thing is the long-term storyline for Malachi Black is what can they do with him and everything like that. But let's get to the women's match. You have Chris Statlander.
The 21 women Casino Battle Royal.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Let's do the Casino Battle Royal. Okay, so they're doing that for the pre-show, which will be interesting. That's going to be fun. I like it. Who do you think the Joker card is?
There's one person I've been keeping a close eye on that could be the Joker card, and I feel like it could be Chris Statlander, or it could be somebody like Jade Cargill.
Nah, I already know who it is. It's going to be Ruby Soho.
That would make
Statlander's already going to be wrestling there.
Yeah, that could make perfect sense as well.
So it's probably going to be Ruby. She'll probably make her debut there, and everything of that sort. I think, like I said,
Red Velvet could win it too.
I think if Ruby's in it, Ruby's winning it.
Yeah.
Then that's the one. I think they got to get new. I don't know if Jade's ready yet. That's just my thing. I don't know. Like, she's a good character. She's okay in the ring.
Another one. Oh yeah, now I remember who I was keeping an eye on. I met her at one of the Shine shows for WWN and Evolve. She has like a orange car. I'm trying to remember. Amber Nova.
Orange car, Amber Nova.
She has like a orange Chevy. It's like an old 1960s sports car type of Chevy. She brings it to like all the shows that she's at.
Oh, okay.
It's part of her gimmick.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just think when I look at the whole situation, and I think it fits perfectly with what Ruby is coming in for. Right, she's coming in to be a game changer, sort of, for the women's division. Because again, this is a slow build up for this division, and it's getting stronger. And Britt Baker has really taken the bull by the horns here and really run with it. You still have Sheeta there, but if you notice, they've kept Sheeta off of Dynamite for a while. They've had her do Dark and all that because again, they're doing the build up. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's really what it is. It's and I like, obviously, Tony Khan knows how to, I think, build certain things. And I think that's why a person like Soho coming in would be really good for them. I think for the Joker card, I think the crowd would go nuts for her.
Yeah, it would.
She was such an underutilized talent in WWE. She was good in NXT. I liked her in NXT. She was underutilized, I think, to certain aspects. She never really got. I think she got one opportunity for the women's championship. That was it. So. But let's get to the other women's match for sure. You got before we go to break in a couple more minutes, we'll get to Chris Statlander and Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, who by the way had Adam Cole as her patient today. Go figure, wink, wink. Obviously, her boyfriend in real life was in her chair today. A lot of wrestling fans, if you read, are now actually going to her doctor's office now in Florida. And they are going there now and getting. Trust me, she don't care. She's making a lot of money off of it. What the hell does she care? I mean, she's the AEW Women's Champion on the side of being a dentist. I mean, she's making loads of money. So, I think the trend continues here with Britt Baker. I think she has so much momentum going for her right now. I think Chris Statlander has gotten such a major improvement from what I saw when she first got here. It was kind of like. I didn't like the alien gimmick very much. I wasn't a big fan of the character. I know you liked it somewhat. I know Lyle liked it somewhat. I wasn't a big fan of it. I thought it was kind of goofy and cheesy and just didn't make sense to me. But I like her being with best friends now. I like the way she does. She kind of does some of the alien things at times. But what she does really well is, Alex, is she's gravitating with the fans to the point where they're cheering for her. The problem is all the fans always cheer for Britt Baker because she's so over right now. It's just, and Britt Baker is supposed to be the heel. And in Chicago, she's going to get massively cheered, Britt Baker, for this match. And I think Baker continues to dominate the women's division in this match.
I could see the same thing happening. I think Britt Baker is somebody who is definitely the favorite going into this matchup. And I think it's possible that she retains.
So I'm just trying to.
I wanted to ask you about Chris Jericho versus MJF because this is the final match and there's a stipulation to it. So if Chris Jericho loses, he can never wrestle in AEW again.
Which is why Jericho's going to win. Right? I think we all agree. Do you pick Jericho in this one?
Yeah, I think Jericho's winning.
I mean, I would think. I would think. See, I don't think it's going to stop the momentum of MJF.
No, it won't.
You know what I mean?
MJF is like one of the top heels in the business, and if you check out his cameos, I mean, it's amazing how he doesn't shy away from his persona. He stays in character no matter what he's doing.
Snug writes, "Yay, it's Go Speedy," and he writes #Wake and Bake Life. Then you wake up and you smoke life. He then writes, Smokey the Bear loves to wake and bake. That's why California is currently on fire. He's a smelly stoner. And he writes, the worst town in America, Bayshore. It only took one resident to ruin it for all the good people of Bayshore, the Beeve, a.k.a. Sultan of Coleslaw, a.k.a. the Princess of Pickle Loaf. Oh boy. It's stuff from the loudmouths. So, to me,
really, MJF. I mean, I was laughing. I think it's amazing how he doesn't give up on his persona. He sticks with it the whole way through. And one of the cameos that I thought was great. He's like, he asked Wardlow if he's into Dragon Ball Z, and he's like, "Nope, I don't like Dragon Ball Z." See, what did I tell you?
See, it was so funny. It was an interesting story. I don't know if I'm going to get it right. I'll see. So Lyle was coming back from Full Gear in Baltimore a couple of years ago. And he actually stopped at a gas station, and go figure, MJF coincidentally was at that gas station. Lyle asked him, I think, to take a picture, and MJF told him,
F off a clock. Oh wait, F off a clock.
MJF basically told him to go F off. So he stayed in character. And I look at it in the perspective of the guy doesn't quit on his character ever.
No,
that's the nice thing about it.
Yeah,
but I don't think this is gonna. If he loses, it's not gonna hurt because in the end he beat Jericho 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that he brought the Jericho shirt out because if you look back from the days, Jericho used to have a security ruard. I forget the guy's name. Rumpus, his name was. He was an overweight guy that had a shirt that didn't fit him, and you'd wear similar shirts. So that was the whole point, I think, of the Jericho of the MJF shirt. So I think excuse me, I think that was pretty funny to have him come out and wear that shirt. I wouldn't buy that shirt personally. That's just my take on it. But like I said, I think Jericho, this is the one where he finally breaks the streak for MJF. Whether that be interference from others in the inner circle, because if you notice, nobody
came out to help him.
Well, remember they weren't allowed to. Remember he said you're not allowed to.
Oh, they're banned from ringside. Yeah.
Yeah, but now in this match, if you notice, anybody in the Pinnacle or the inner circle, they don't have a match that night. So I would think they're going to maybe get them involved if they possibly can and make a war breakout and do all this stuff and all that sorts. It would be, to me, when I look at it, it's I think this would be the perfect time for Jericho to win. The crowd's going to go crazy when he wins. And I think it just fits well. I mean, look, I can't see AEW just not having him wrestle anymore. Listen, he could go and be a commentator for.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got he's on Rampage, so that's cool that he does that, and he's got Fozzy and everything. But he could still go, even though he looks like a dad bod guy right now. I mean, the way he looks, then again, I don't look any better. But be it as it may, to me, I think Jericho is going to take this one. I think it's. I don't want to say it's easy because you never know with AEW. I feel like nothing is ever easy when you're trying to guess these things. Like there could be swerves, there could be surprises, there could be different things, and
expect the unexpected.
That's exactly it. So to me, how I look at this is, I think Jericho will take it, and yeah. So, any last things before we go to break, Alex, in regards to the Jericho MJF match?
No, I feel like this match is definitely going to be interesting story-wise, and I'm interested to see how MJF reacts if he loses this match.
100% for sure. Well, we've done a lot of talking, so we're going to go to a break, take a breather for a few minutes. When we come back, Alex is going to get into This Week in Wrestling History. We're going to get into some more AEW All Out previewing. We still got CM Punk, Darby Allin. We still got Kenny Omega, Christian Cage. I'm sure I'm missing. Am I missing any other ones?
We have Jon Moxley and Kojima,
Jon Moxley. We still have Eddie Kingston and Miro. So we still have more to get to. We're gonna get This Week in Wrestling History. We're gonna give our prediction of when we think Bryan Danielson is gonna debut, what part of the show he'll debut, and we'll get into our finishing move, and then that'll be it. Because remember, we are not on next week. This will be next week, our first ever in the time we've done this. Our first show that there will not be any off the mat next week. For all the times we've ever done this show, this will be the first time ever that we have not done the show. The only time we ever missed, the only time we ever
I think it was like in the early.
It was that first show. No, it was that first show when we had to cut it early. But there was a disaster with the camera, with the editing and the recording and stuff. But be it as it may, we'll get to all that when we come back and so much more right here and Off the Mat here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stock, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value, market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers Securities Advisors LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC. Annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network LLC.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing? I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better. And kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor. Because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Are you ready?
Now welcome back to Off the Mat with Alex Lowe's, Josh Silverberg, and Lyle Gillen.
Yes, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the last few minutes here of Off the Mat, our AEW All Out preview right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I'm watching NXT, and they're doing the rebranding thing again, so it just blows me off. But also, shout out to Carl for watching. Thanks, Carl, for checking us out for the last couple of minutes for sure. So, Alex, what you got for us for this week in wrestling history?
So this week in wrestling
Give me a good one, man.
Is TNA live from Friday, August 31st of 2012. It took place at the Seigel Center in Richmond, Virginia, with an attendance of 1,100. The first match was Kurt Angle in a draw against Frankie Kazarian, Zema Ion, Sanjay Dutt, Christopher Daniels, Magnus, AJ Styles, and James Storm in a battle royale.
Oh.
Number 2 was Mickey James defeating Gail Kim. Number 3 was Zema Ion defeating Sanjay Dutt for the TNA X Division title.
Works at AEW as a producer.
Mm-hmm. Number 4 is James Storm defeated Magnus. And number 5 was AJ Styles, Austin Aries, and Kurt Angle defeated Bobby Roode, Christopher Daniels, and Frankie Kazarian in a 6-person tag.
You hear that main event? That main event was crazy good. That
sounds like an amazing main
Before
event.
Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff came in, TNA was killing it.
Yeah,
And then,
they were.
and then they took the 6-sided ring away, and they did all of that. It was crazy. Actually, Speedy, do you hear us?
I hated the Octagon ring.
Speedy, you there?
No. That Octagon was awful.
I love the 6-sided ring with Impact or TNA. I love the Speedy, are you there?
I'm too much of a traditional fan. I like the regular ring.
Speedy, how's your fantasy draft going tonight?
I actually had 2 of them, and they were both great.
So my friend actually drafted Lamar Jackson as his QB, which is great because he's literally the best one of the best fantasy QBs you can have.
Yeah, he's somebody that you get rushing yards, so that's absolutely a good pick. Where did he take him? How early?
I don't know. I mean, his team is like. His team really quick, Alex. See, this is the thing because I don't get to talk sports. I miss talking sports with Speedy at times. So, really quick, it's Lamar Jackson, DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin, Derrick Henry, Chris Carson, Noah Fant, Raheem Mostert is his flex. Then he's got as his backups OBJ, Callaway from the Saints, Elijah Moore, Baker Mayfield, Williams from the Ravens, Stevenson from the Saints. Zerloin is his kicker, and he got the Tampa Bay defense.
Zerline has some injury issues, though. So
but still, that's a stacked team he has.
No, it is.
You have OBJ as your backup. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen OBJ.
I asked him, "What'd you draft for the 4-person league? Like, who did you draft with?" Like,
yeah, one of the leagues was 12 that I had. One of them was 10 just now.
Oh,
I was happy with both of them.
Well, I just wanted to see how you were doing with that, Speedy. Thank you. We always appreciate that,
Yes,
man. I'm glad
absolutely.
you're doing well with that. I miss talking sports with you guys for sure on Sports Live Match, which you could check every Wednesday and Thursday night right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network from 9 till – I'm honestly not even going to give a time when the show ends because the show always ends when it wants to. But you can check it out with Speedy, of course, Errol Marks, and Tyler Harrison. Always an interesting things. So Carl writes Yo saying hi. He goes, Speedy drafted the Seahawks punter as his kicker.
No, I didn't draft the Seahawks punter.
Oh, yes. Oh man. But thank you for that, Speedy. So let's finish up All Out, and then we'll get into our finishing move, and then we'll go our very merry way, and then we'll check it all out this weekend. So we were at
I'm interested about CM Punk versus Darby Allin.
Yes.
I feel like this is going to be an amazing matchup. John Alba talked a little bit about it earlier on in the show, and I think this is a full circle, once in a lifetime match that he's having, because this is an opportunity where he can go above and beyond, take things to the limit with CM Punk, and see how far CM Punk can go. And I think CM Punk can still have it. I think he can still go against somebody like Darby Allin, who is very quick and agile.
Well, this is the question, right, that we have. It's, he's been out of the ring for 7 years. And he even said it during the media scrum with Tony Khan. He said that he hasn't really trained that much back in the ring. I mean, but then you did see it. You saw a picture with him training with Malachi Black and Selena Vega. The three of them were training together recently. And to me, I find that to be interesting because when you look at it, CM Punk was in MMA for a little bit, was in UFC for a little bit. Didn't do well there, obviously. We all know the results. It was horrible. So when I look at it, obviously I think Punk's going to win. But I think the key thing is it's so funny. Everybody's saying, is Darby really going to do well in this? I'm not remotely worried about Darby. I'm more worried about Punk, if he could still go. And I think Punk wants to test himself to see if he could still go. I think
CM Punk can do it because I know two moves that he normally does. The one where he goes to the top rope for the elbow drop.
The elbow drop from Randy Savage, because that was
the Anaconda Vice, the submission.
Yeah. And I think the thing that I take a lot of pride and respect in for Darby Allin is the fact that Punk said if he was a 15-year-old, that would be his favorite wrestler. A punk skateboarder who's straight edge, that likes punk music, likes to skateboard, has tattoos, he likes to do his own thing, beat to his own drum. He beats at his own drum, as they say. And, I like I said, I think they're going to put on a killer match. I understand what John was saying. Listen, and John corrected himself about the booing thing. See, that's the thing. The fans are still going to cheer for Darby. Like, that's the thing. Like, they will still cheer for Darby. They're just, my thinking is I think what Sting needs to do is Sting needs to come down with Darby. Darby at the entranceway needs to tell Sting, go to the back. This is for me. And then that's it. Let me take care of it. And Sting will go to the back. Sting gets his moment, says hi to the crowd. Then he goes to the back and does his thing. And, not that Sting would get involved anyway. He wouldn't. I just think it might take a little bit of steam away from the match because the crowd would be distracted by Sting. That's why I don't think he'll be involved. So, to me, I think Punk's going to win. I don't think this is going to hurt Darby in any sort of capacity. I think Darby's going to do just fine. This is not a burial for him. To me, the sucky thing is that Darby's my favorite wrestler in AEW. So for me, really, I would say my two favorites are Darby and Hangman. And Paige. Those are my two favorite guys. And Hangman's not even at the show. Obviously, his wife just gave birth. So, when I look at this match as a whole, there's going to be so much to take in, and I think Punk is going to be the one that comes out on top. I think it's going to be good, and I'm excited for it. But
here's the thing with CM Punk, though. I'm interested to see if he still has that submission route, because I remember watching CM Punk in like 2012, 2013, and 2011. He was very good at wearing down his opponents and taking them into deep water. So I really am intrigued and interested to see if he's still able to go that route too in a match.
No, of course. And I think he will. It depends on how long, he seems to be conditioned in good shape and everything like that. So it's just, as long as he's not eating a ton of ice cream bars, I think he's in great shape. It's not like he's been out of the ring for years and years. I mean, he's been out of the ring for 7 years, but he was doing UFC for a little bit of time. But, I think he'll be ready for All Out, for sure. And then you get into
AEW World Title.
Oh no, you're skipping. No, you're jumping the gun out. We got two more. Then we get to the World Title. I know you're eager for Cage and Omega, but you got to get into Eddie Kingston and Miro, which is going to be a really good match. And this is actually the match. I get a vibe that Miro's going to beat Kingston, and he's going to beat.
I see it. I see that happening.
And at the end of the match, and that's when Bryan Danielson, I think, shows up.
Because Miro has been on a hot streak, like I said earlier. There's the way he's been performing at extreme amounts, and the pressure he has been putting on his opponents. I think this is a guy that you cannot underestimate in the ring, and he uses the move that's called Game Over, but back in the day it was called the Accolade. They can't call it the Accolade because that's trademarked. But I do I do think that Miro has the possibility of retaining.
No, me too. I think Miro will retain. I think you could see Bryan Danielson coming out and helping Eddie Kingston at the end of the match, and that's where I think you'll see him debut and go face to face with Miro. At least that's what I think. I think that's the route that they maybe should go. I like John Alba's idea of him going against Miro for the TNT Championship because, again, when you see the situation of you don't want guys to jump the gun, right? You said that earlier, and John said too. That's not how AEW usually does things. And I did the hand thing because it's like rising to the top, but they don't do it so quickly. They build it up. Like Christian Cage was months into the making. I mean, we all thought Cage was coming in there to face Kenny Omega, like boom, right away, and didn't happen. And it was a slow build up. So I think that's where you can see Bryan Danielson maybe going up against Miro, winning those matches. And what I do see again is I could see Bryan Danielson beating him for the TNT Championship in the future and letting that be a nice long rivalry between the two of them. So that would be a lot of fun. All right, I think we have two more matches. Kojima versus John Moxley, which again was a random build-up. It was, not going to lie, but at the same time, I think Moxley will come out in this match. I think again he's fighting more guys. Again, like John said, you want to see the Tanahashis, the Ibushis, the Okadas, the Takajis, the Ospreys show up, and who knows? Hopefully, eventually, at some point, they will. But he's giving way to some veterans in New Japan that are some legends in New Japan, which is kind of cool. I think Moxley's going to win.
Yep.
I like that he comes out to the Wild thing you saw now. I think it fits his mold perfectly, his personality really well. So I think Moxley will win. I think the fans will appreciate it because a lot of those AEW fans are New Japan fans, so they will appreciate the match. Obviously, you're waiting for maybe you're waiting for the Sonata or somebody to show up eventually, and in due time they will come, I think. But I think Moxley will win this match for sure, Alex.
Absolutely. I do see John Moxley taking the victory off Kojima, but Kojima is still an excellent wrestler. This guy's been around in New Japan for a long time, and Kojima is one of those guys who he does not back down from anything. So I know him and Moxley are going to have a striking exchange in the match. There's going to be moments where they get dumped out to the floor. So I expect it to be a very physical, intense environment match.
For sure. I think it will be a good match. It'll be a fun match and everything like that. So we will see for sure how that goes, but who knows? Like I said, I think Moxley's going to win. And then now we get to the main event, Alex. I know you're eager, so I'll let you start with this one. Cage Omega 2.
So I'm going to say Kenny Omega retains because it's I honestly see somebody costing Christian Cage the match. I feel like somebody from Kenny Omega's group is going to distract Christian Cage and knock him off his groove. Christian is the type of guy who's been in a lot of great world championship matches. One in particular that I remember seeing is Edge Christian against Alberto Del Rio at Extreme Rules. It was a ladder match for the world title. So he's been in a lot of similar matches. I expect him to basically go all into this match at full speed. And I know he's not gonna let Kenny Omega go out easily with the title and walk out of Chicago with the championship. I feel like Christian Cage is the type of guy who takes everybody to the amount of extreme pressure in matches.
Omega's winning it. I think this is a long build-up for when Hangman takes the belt from him eventually, like Lyle has been saying.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Punk comes out at the end and maybe helps him. Maybe that's when Bryan Danielson comes out and helps. But isn't it so coincidental that all of a sudden CM Punk and Christian Cage have been hanging out with each other? Whereas at the end of the show, everybody's beating up on Christian. All the Elite, the Good Brothers, the Young Bucks.
And Punk
shows up.
Yeah. And the ironic thing is, in WWE, CM Punk and Christian didn't like each other. That's the irony of it.
And you know what? Hey, listen, Colt Cabana and CM Punk didn't like each other. It seems like everything's been squashed. So, like I said, I look at the situation and I view it as a point where there's a lot they can do with this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, hold on a second. So, Carl, sorry, because it's updating. It says, Carl says crap team. In regards to Speedy's fantasy team, you just listed, and then he goes, do you guys remember a wrestler named Earthquake? Of course I remember Earthquake.
Yeah, I remember
Sure, of course, man. Have you guys seen any of the new show called Heels? I have not watched it, the one that Punk is on. No, I have not, Carl. I do want to see it. But in regards to Earthquake, of course I remember Earthquake when he used to team with Dino Bravo in WWF back in the day. He was a rivalry of the Hulk Hogan. He was a big dude.
Yeah,
I remember him and the Natural
Giant too.
Yeah, it was him and the Natural Disasters with Typhoon, known as Tugboat in the beginning. I know that was one I definitely remember for sure. That was way back, and they called it the Golden Era. They called it for WWE back in the day. But you know, like I said, I expect all. Like I said, I'm going to do. Carl says, I remember when he made his debut, they plucked him from the stand. Yes, they did. It was in I think it was a push-up competition where he sits on somebody's back, had him dressed up as a regular fan. Yeah, I think it was they had him do a push-up competition, Ultimate Warrior and Dino Bravo, and that was the fix. And Jimmy Hart, you know, had the fix in and everything like that. So, of course, remember all that. Passed away a couple years ago, so everything of that sorts. But so yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna find a way. I'm not gonna watch All Out live, unfortunately. I'm gonna bring my Fire Stick with me to Florida, and I'm gonna hope that the TV is a smart TV. Most hotels are nowadays, like I said. Then I'm going to watch it and just stream it on Bleacher Report or Fight TV and watch it after and stay up till probably 2 or 3 in the morning and then get up the next day at 7 to go to the amusement park again. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Florida. Yes, Carl. I will be in Florida. So, you know, come on, come chill, man. I'll be in Orlando. I don't know if you're that far from me. I don't think you're that far from it, but come by. We have each other's numbers. So if you want to hit me up at City Walk one night, you know, go out to dinner or something, that'd be awesome. I know you have the kids and everything, but, you know, if you want to just hit me up for sure. But like I said, you know, so we have our finishing move. We're at the point. Great show tonight, man. That was awesome tonight. But what's your finishing move before we get off the air?
So my finishing move is about All Out. I expect this pay-per-view to get a rating of 9.4 out of 10. That's where I'm expecting it to
I
go.
expect better. I expect it to be a perfect 10 out of 10. I do. I think that this has all the makings. This is their biggest show AEW's had since the debut of since they had Double or Nothing.
I think it's going to blow every other pay-per-view out of the water this year.
Oh, 100% it will.
I like AEW Full Gear is not a show that's going to do very well, but at some extent.
I mean, they can't possibly screw this up in any sort of capacity. They can't. It's just no rhyme or reason why it should be screwed up. And it's going to be cool that John's going to be there. I'm sure Raj will probably be there to cover it. Like I said, I'm just Carl says 9.2, but very entertaining. There you go. So, you know, that's what he thinks. So, I mean, like, I expect a 9.8. You know what I mean? To me, you know, I expect it to be a very fun, good show. Really quick, I want to get Speedy back on it before I get my finishing move. Speedy, are you there quick? He'll get in eventually. Speedy PD. Where you at, kid?
Is he AFK?
No, he's here. Question for you. You didn't have Loyal Crawford on the show ever, did you?
Yeah, we did.
Oh boy. That's not good.
Loyal Crawford was on the show back in November.
Yeah, he just got disciplined for the program dismisses Loyal Crawford for armed dorm fight.
Wow. Jeez.
That's not good. Well, that's not good. I guess he's not coming on the show for again.
Wow.
Yikes. Yeah. Maybe we might want to tell Arrow that one.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even know what to say. Look at you. Who was the really fun kid you used to have on the show from Wisconsin?
Evan Kirkwood.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't think he got into the fight now. That's it.
Hold on.
What happened? Are you with him?
Errol's on the phone. He was just saying.
Did you tell him about Loyal Crawford? Just got like.
I will in a bit. The funny guy on the show we had was Devin Kirkwood. He's
okay. No, he didn't get in trouble. It was Loyal Crawford.
No, he's not a troublemaker.
I think he had a gun in his dorm.
Oh,
well, that's not gonna do it. So yeah. Yeah. My favorite. I wanted to talk. That name sounded so familiar. So my finishing move is pretty much about AEW All Out as well and how they can't do anything wrong this weekend. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that could go wrong with it. There's nothing that could really take away from it. I expect them to really, honestly, kill it this weekend. They should. There's no reason why. And then it's going to lead all the way up to Grand Slam, and then it's going to go to Full Gear, and we're going to get to all that. It's going to be so much fun. A great show, and everything like that. Before we go, here's how you can download our app. If you have an iPhone, you type in WWSRN. If you have an Android, you go to the Google Play Store. You type in Worldwide Sports. Check us out. Free app. You can listen to the audio if you're driving. Check out our show schedules, the wonderful articles that we all write here on the network, as well as we have other writers as well, and all that good stuff. We also have WorldwideSportsRadio.com, our great state-of-the-art website. You can't miss it. Don't forget to check out all of our other great shows like Sports Lab Mouse, The Ryan Hickey Show, Weapons Hot, The Betting Show with Chaz. I think it's called Sports Betting Weekly. There's so many great programs we have on here on the network. It's great. Again, we will not be on next week, September 7th, to break down All Out. We'll break it out the week after. It'll be a little late, but that's okay. Lyle will give us a preview of, his show at the Prudential Center. And then Carl writes, Errol wins the bet. So I guess there was a bet to be had and won and everything like that. So check us out on there. All good stuff. The three of us will be back in 2 weeks. If you want to plug the website as well, Alex.
So the website is in our Twitter bio, off the mat, WWSRN.com. It is our Google website. You go to that page, you will have access to our show archive, all of the previous and past shows that we have done, all of our interviews with special guests. You also get a show and pay-per-view schedule for 2021 and a pre-show archive. And that pre-show archive includes videos off the mat WWSRN YouTube channel. And please be sure to check that out as well, because I will be doing pre-shows heading towards the Prudential Center show and Arthur Ashe show as well.
Alex, Carl also writes, still need that shirt, Alex. So definitely shoot him the tips and details on how you can get it. Always love our fans supporting what we do here. Again, Lyle will be back in 2 weeks. Again, I'll be in Florida next week. Alex will be at an event, and Lyle will be doing something that night as well. So the three of us will not be here. So again, the first show we've ever missed here on Off the Mat in its history. So, but I guess, first time for everything, as they say. But we will be back stronger and better than ever in 2 weeks. After we all have like a little mini break. For sure. I want to thank John Alba again for joining us tonight. That was amazing to have him on. I know how busy he is. Great show tonight, Alex. Carl writes, Lyle overrated. ... So there you go. Again, I start my first day back to school tomorrow. New York schools are going back. I know Florida schools are back. They've been back for a month now, I think, Alex. So we're getting back with it. Again, hopefully everybody at Hurricane Ida, hopefully you're safe. You're okay. That was horrible. The devastation that happened in Louisiana this past weekend. Hopefully everybody is safe and okay, and everybody's doing well. And, yep. Carl says mask it up and back since August 10th. Carl knows he's a teacher. So I will definitely, the students are wearing masks as well. We are wearing masks still. That is the thing. Literally, I go back tomorrow and Thursday, and then I'm on vacation again. Like, we're on break again, and then I'm like back that next Thursday, and then we're on vacation again for a few weeks because of holidays and stuff like that. So, a lot of holidays going on. But like I said, I can't complain. Really, the school year in New York really gets going in like October. Really, like this is kind of like a welcome back, and then like October we really kick it into gear until June. But again, thank you to everybody for tuning in and listening in. Hopefully you all enjoyed the rest of wrestling this week. Enjoy Dynamite tomorrow, Rampage Friday, SmackDown Friday, NXT tonight. Enjoy All Out very, 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 very much. Again, I will not see it live, so it sucks. But I will be watching the show after it is off the air. What the hell? 4 days and 3 weeks. I need that schedule. You damn right, Carl. Dude. We're in school for like 5 days in September. Like that's all we're in school for. It's like 5 days. It's great. It's a great schedule. So I want to thank all the listeners again, all the callers. Well, we didn't have any callers, but if you ever want to call in, you have the number. Thank you all typing in on the chat. We always appreciate it. Again, enjoy All Out this weekend. Watch it. Remember it. Live it up. Have fun. Stay safe. For Alex Lowe's, for Lyle Gillen, for Speedy Petey, I'm Josh Silverberg. This is Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Thank you so much again. Have a great night. And again, enjoy All Out this weekend. Good night, everybody. Kenny Omega, what do you have to say?
I must bid you adieu. So say with me now if you know it. Goodbye. And good night.
Thank you for listening to Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, your source for all things wrestling and sports entertainment. It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff